And we're live. And we're live, just like that. Now, I will want to make sure that our sound levels are good, though. So, yeah.
You sound good over there, from what I can hear. I can't hear myself just yet, because...
Yeah, with guests, I think I need to actually crank you up a little bit. Let's just...
Oh, I thought I sounded actually pretty decent. I actually sound louder than you.
Oh, well then let's turn that back down again a little bit.
Whoa. Ouch.
Right.
And I just got louder.
I guess we'll just see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
and this goes to... I need to try and refine how I'm handling audio, because I'm doing everything through this, but then that means that the music's on this, you're on this, and I can't control them independently, you know?
Right.
So, I wonder if the music's actually a little bit too loud. I wonder if I need to turn that down, but we could, I guess, see that when people get in. Alright, so here we are. It's yet another Monday. That means we're with Jack. Hey, baby.
Hello, my dear.
And we are working on the I was going to say the Necropolis map. No, this is the Castle Keeper's Guide for Trollord Games. Necropolis was all over the weekend. Now we're actually getting into colouring. But before we get into the colouring of the village, huge shout out to every single one of you Twitch subscribers, all of you Patreon backers. I cannot express enough how much I love all of you. You seriously empower this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So with that said, we're gonna just jump into this. My Photoshop barfed over the weekend while I was working on Necropolis, and it kind of did a big, huge reset. So I've got tools all over the freaking place right now. So I'm just gonna get rid of this action layer. I may be doing a little bit of that this evening, trying to rearrange things. So,
Gotcha.
that's of one side. Hey, we have Lord Dalius is here. Good
Lord
evening to
Dalius. Hello, sir.
Lord, this is what we've been working on. I'm actually kind of liking how this one's shaping up. Quite a bit. And we're working on this one. I don't think I'll finish this tonight. It's getting to be intricate. But I do think I can get our trees done. Look at those trees. I love the trees. Oh my god. We'll get the trees done on the bushes. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the buildings. But I'm going to start with the trees here. But first, a drink.
I shall join you in that.
So today, I watched a video on YouTube that was a breakdown of Cyberpunk, and Jack and I were talking about this a little, and we were talking about where the game did well and where the game didn't do too well. But it also kind of relates back to a conversation we were having last week about, you know, open world games in general and what we kind of look for in them. So, Jack, what would you like to see more of in your open world games?
You know, that's actually a really good question, because that question that was brought up last week, it was kind of like a general, what do you look for in games in general? But if specifically keeping it to like open world games, well, obviously right off the bat, if you're playing a character in an open world game, there's obviously two camps. There is you are playing as a particular person, kind of like the Red Dead Redemption games, where you're playing, you know, either Marsden in the first game, or hello Alex Vixen.
Hey Alex Vixen.
In the second one you're playing Arthur, I don't know his last name, and that's like a set character. And then there's some that kind of try to break that mold, like GTA 5, where it was like you have there's three main protagonists that you can switch between. But so there's that camp where you are playing a set person, or there's a thing kind of like the Elder Scrolls or I wouldn't call Fallout in there, because Fallout you're playing a particular person as well. But Skyrim, you're playing a person of your own creation. You know, that type of open world game. A lot of MMOs do that as well. Obviously, create you in a game. And I think out of the two, I prefer the the make your own. I want to create a character that's me, that it's like I see this person in my head and I want to create this person to explore this open world wherever it may take us. And I think that's probably the number one thing. At least I have a list. I'm sure I'm going to be able to talk about this for the entire hour and a half of like things that I like in open world games. But right off the bat, off the kick, with kickoff, that's number one for me. Is I think I want to be able to create a character that I want to play personally.
So strong character customization.
Strong character customization, yeah. Hello, GL.
Hey, GL.
So Alex Vixen. So Alyssa brought up that she was watching a video earlier talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and some of the features that were omitted from it, from what was promised by the developers. And she then kind of brought up the question last week where I had brought up, what is it about games that you enjoy? Hello, Cajun Dragon. And so then she posed the question, what is it you look for in open world games then specifically? Like what types of features and things? And so my number one out of many that I'll probably list here is character creation, character customization.
So you don't like taking over a character that is set for you as much?
Yeah, it's not that I dislike it. I don't prefer it. If I had a choice, I would do the complete custom character as opposed to a character that I'm playing. But
so
that
related to that then. Related to that.
Yeah.
Because you also have the customization of choice within a game. Because if they actually give you, let's say, a set-piece character, but you have free reign over how you play the game and how you interact with the game, and I'm going to cite Red Dead Redemption 2, you are given that character. But you can customize their look considerably, but not their facial structure. You are a guy, this is what you're called, and if you have a beard or not, or your hairstyle, or your hat, or your clothing, these are the things that you can heavily customize. But you do have complete choice in the game, which for me becomes part of customization. What do you think?
Yeah, that Trebor, hello Trebor, is
Trebor.
commenting that you're much quieter than I am.
I'm quieter. That makes no sense. That literally makes no sense.
Maybe you have the music and guest levels higher than your setting?
Well, we could try that.
Test.
Let's try that, because my volume hasn't changed at all.
I'm okay with that idea. Here's your set character, but now you can customize their look, their equipment. I mean, maybe you even have a custom set of skills that you can go down if the game has like a skill tree, or maybe the types of weapons you use can be different, based on what. So like somebody else could be like, oh yeah, I played that guy and I used a rifle the whole time. This is my preferred weapon. And the other guy's like, oh well, I used the pistols. So like, okay, cool. That type of thing, I'm okay with, especially with a game like, even though like with the Red Deads, while they are. And I know you're still playing 2, and I haven't played 2 at all, like even a smidge. So I have no idea where the story is going. But it has a very rich and detailed story. And I'm okay with games like that. That even though it's open world, there is definitely a story we're trying to tell with this particular character, and we want you to experience that and actually play as that person. I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not against it, definitely. Especially if you can customize your equipment. Customization in a little bit goes a long way.
Lord Dalius, I'm sorry, my friend, that your internet is playing up again, or Twitch is playing up. Smack it upside the head real hard. How does my volume sound now, by the way, folks? I've actually not changed my volume at all from previous streams. Not at all. So it's possible that just Jack and the music are louder.
You're bombastic.
So, from that, okay, so Jack, I like games that if they have more of. So you've said character customization. But would it be fair to say just more customization in general, also during the game? Equipment and things?
Definitely. The fact that you said that Red Dead Redemption 2, you could get a, like you were going to get a coat, and then you were able to preview your coat and then add customizations to get the look of the coat that you wanted. I was like, oh my God, why don't all games do that? Why don't, like a game like Grand Theft Auto, why couldn't you go into a tailor and actually customize your clothes? Not just be like, oh, I want the blue shirt or the red shirt, because a lot of places do that. But I want the red shirt and I want the logo on here to be different. Or I want the collar to be a different style. Or I want there to be a design on the back of my shirt, that's, different than the stock one. That type of like, finite customization. Finite? No. Minute? Infinite. Oh. Yeah, but those
All right, so look, Treebor has brought this up a couple of times now. Am I infinitely quieter than Jack this evening? Because I've changed nothing about my setting in that way. Why is Treebor saying that?
I'm listening.
I have literally changed nothing. I always have my mic is in the same position. Nothing about my mic. My volume settings for me are showing great pickup.
I got to assume then there's something wonky with the secondary volume set if you don't adjust yours at all.
I mean, it just sounds like I'm quiet to Treebor.
Yeah, I'm listening to the...
Cajun Dragon is saying we both sound fine.
Yeah, I'm listening to the thread, and I can hear us both, but my volume is definitely louder than yours.
Well, I can nudge you down. That's typically not a problem. I think I can just do like a little bit of that to get your...
Yeah, like down. If it would be like 75% of what I am, that might help.
Well, do a little bit at a time.
Okay.
Treebor, that's weird though, because your settings shouldn't differentiate between Jack and myself. Your settings should just be your settings. Yeah, one thing I've played Cyberpunk now, obviously, and I've played Fallout, and I've played Red Dead Redemption, and yada 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 yada. For me, places that get it right, are definitely... I do like being able to edit my character's look more than Cyberpunk gave me. Valhalla typically doesn't give you any control over that, and that takes away a little bit, but it's not the end of the world as long as I can change my look in-game. They do have a little bit of that in Valhalla. And definitely, I know what you mean, because as long as I can then see myself in-game and further sort of refine myself, I like it. Now, Red Dead is pretty much here you are. But what I like about that one is your beard does grow in game. You have to decide what you're going to do with that, including shaving it. How you handle your facial hair is something that you can customize. And yeah, every single item of clothing, from a little waistcoat to what you wear underneath it, from looking pretty scuzzy to looking really quite dapper, you have complete control. And then the patterns and the colours of those items you can control, and then the pistols and the weapons, you can customize those too. So
there you go.
I do want to say that you can get a look that you want. I don't need to be able to create a short guy or a tall, thin woman. I don't need that level of detail. And I know the online game does a lot of that, but I don't need it in a story per se.
Right.
But I think that one of the things that sort of did not work for me in Cyberpunk is it was very thin on the character customization front.
Right.
And then you didn't really ever have control after that. You would wear whatever worked, whatever you found, whatever you picked up, and you couldn't control how those items looked. It was either a cool looking jacket or it wasn't, and if the stats were good, you wore it anyway. So you never really had control over your character's look, even after the fact. And you certainly couldn't go to a barber or anything.
Right. I actually played my first character in Cyberpunk where I wanted to have the look. And so there was a lot of armor and a lot of equipment that it was by far way better than what I was currently wearing. But I wanted to go with a similar look. She was like, I was playing a girl character that was kind of a punk rocker style character. So she had like the jackets with the spikes on them, and she wore like a gas mask, and her, she had like badass shades kind of a thing. Like me, I think she even had goggles at one point. She was totally trying to embrace like the punk rocker thing. So I'd find like a really cool like blazer, and its stats were amazing. And I'd be like, but she wouldn't wear a blazer. This is not, she would almost feel like she's selling out, wearing like a sports jacket. So I'd be like, all right, well, I guess I'll break it down for parts. Sucks to be me. That jacket was like 3 times as powerful as what I'm currently wearing, but because I can't change it to make it look like a punk rocker jacket. I should have been able to tear off the sleeves and add spikes, or just cosmetically change it so it fit. But nah. I hear you on that.
By the way, I don't want to keep on flogging this, but I did nudge Jack down just a little bit more in the volume. So, we can do that a couple more times. I don't want to overdo it, so it was just a nudge.
So, if I'm still very loud, in overriding everything, you could just like maybe comment Jack loud. Or shut up, Jack, or something.
Also, Jack, I don't know if you noticed, but GL, I think it was GL, dropped in a link to Battlefront 2, which apparently is free right now.
It is, over on Epic Game. I snagged it the other day because I don't remember if it was GL that you talked about it originally the first time, or if it was Dungeon Tomb the other day, but it was last Monday when I was on. Somebody mentioned it, that it was going to be, I think it was Wednesday was going to be when they released it for free on Epic. And so last week I snagged it. It's not the type of game I typically play because I don't like playing multiplayer games. If I'm going to play a multiplayer game, I want it to be in a controlled co-op environment with people that I know. But it's Star Wars, so I'll probably fire it up from time to time just to check it out. Die in like the first 5 minutes. Yeah, Alex Dixon, they definitely reneged on their exceptional character customizations for Cyberpunk. It was pretty basic. It was pretty freaking basic.
Yeah, for me, so Jack and I were talking about this earlier, and one thing Jack and I did is we actually avoided all of the marketing hype. We didn't watch trailers, we didn't watch their Night City videos that they did. We actively avoided YouTubers talking about it because we just wanted this completely virginal experience. We get whatever we're gonna get. That said, I've played CD Projekt Red games. They're known for their quality, they're known for their depth, and from the little I had heard, my expectation was going to be that they were going to at least be evolving certain aspects, character customization being one of them. So my expectation is that I was going to get something better than what Bethesda did. That was my expectation. I feel Bethesda's is not a bad character generation, but it's basic, So if we're doing a 2020 game coming up to 2021, something that they've been actively working for quite some time, this is CD Projekt Red. They're promising a few things. I'm going to get a pretty kick-ass character customization system. My minimum expectations on this was, it's not just a series of sliders. I'm not a huge fan of sliders. It makes some sense to a degree, but like I don't want like a slider for, let's say, tattoo style, and there's only 4 options in it. I mean, that's just bullshit. Can I now position the tattoos? No, apparently I can't. So it's either no tattoos, or I've got a choice of 4 tattoos and I can't put them anywhere. So that's not awesome. Well, what about hairstyles? Okay, well, they actually had quite a few hairstyles, but again, it was just on a slider system. So it's like, well, okay, I want to take I want to take a long sort of, I want a shaven right side, I want it fairly long coming down the left, and I want it kind of like down here. No, that's not a choice. You can have shorts down here. Oh, or you can have shaven on the other side and long down here. Well, can I flip that? Can I flip it over? No, not an option. I'm like, well, what about that preset? That preset has exactly what I want. Click the preset, I didn't even get what the preset had. So I feel like it was an okay character customization thing. By the way, no body sliders, no weight sliders, no height sliders. So you couldn't even change your body shape. And so I'm not going to say it was a bad customization system. I think that would be disingenuous. But it wasn't an innovative system. It didn't involve what we've seen before. It was just, all right. I was pretty sure I was going to be in character customization for freaking hours, because that's how Jack and I roll. I think I was in there for like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, I think this is it.
Yep.
Even the eyes, they say, yeah, but you can customize your eyes. Well, yeah, you could basically customize if you got regular eyes or if you got some kind of cyber eyes. And 90% of the cyber eye choices were stupid and dumb, like you were skull and crossbones or something. And like you'd go through them and go, no, that's dumb, that's dumb, that's dumb. So it just did nothing for me.
Right. Yeah, as Alex said, when Alyssa and I first played Skyrim, and then when we played Fallout 4, it was one of those things, and that's where we kind of thought maybe they were going to go for this type of thing. It literally, it took us like over an hour or two for like creating our first characters, like the very first time, because obviously the first thing we got to do is you got to look at all of the options and see, okay, so what all can I do here? And then so that takes like the first 30 minutes, because there was so much stuff that you could do with it in Skyrim and Fallout. Then you go back to the beginning and you go, okay, now let's start tweaking everything. And then you tweak, and maybe you have a character in mind. So then you're like, okay, I want to create like maybe a character from a show or from a movie, and you're like, okay, I want to try to make myself look like this character as much as I can. And you got to go tweak. Hour and a half later, you're like, freaking hell, I've been playing this game for 2 hours and I'm not even out of character customization.
And while Fallout definitely had some limitations, the fact that you could change your cheek shapes and your jawline, and there was a little bit of that in Cyberpunk, but you could really get into it with Fallout. And I remember sitting there going, I want to create this particular actor, and having a picture of the actor there, trying to get close to it. Now, it'd fall a little bit short, but you had the tools to at least shoot for it. So to give an example, Jack mentioned maybe you've got something in mind. Well, we've got a role-playing group and we play Shadowrun, and we wanted to create our characters in the game. Well, there's a problem here, because one of our players has a Klaus from Umbrella Academy type of character, very thin and gaunt, almost like he's a druggie, right? He wants to play this thin, right? But he wants to play this thin, gaunt character. Can't. There's no slider for that.
And short, exactly.
Jack just wanted to play a big bull of a man. Now, you could see big bull of guys in the game. They're all over. These huge, towering, just walls of muscle. Can't do that. Sorry, there's no slider that even allows you to get close to playing a big dude, or a small dude, or a thin dude, or a fat dude. There's just no option for that.
You have to play generic, medium, lean, muscular build guy or girl. Oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah, you can't even get into the even if you're gonna make me play this average height, average weight dude. Can I affect at least what I look like underneath my clothing? No, you're gonna give me schlong size apparently, but you're not gonna let me have abs or not? Maybe a little bit of a paunch or not? No.
Yeah, good point, Alex. Like I said, Jackie was a wall of muscle of a character. The character I wanted to create would have been more of like a Jackie character. He would have been a tall, big guy.
GL, by the way, thanks for the link. I already own that. I don't know why we're linking to that. Wargaming we can't. We're not really talking about. We're not really complaining about Cyberpunk. What we're talking about is what features we like in our open world games. And Jack was talking about
character customization.
Character customization. Thank you, Jack. And this then got on to what types of character customization are we talking about? And then this got into games that have done it pretty well, and why Cyberpunk actually hasn't had it done it very well. The limitations of their system.
So moving away from bashing on Cyberpunk and moving away from customization, and another one of the things that I like, wargaming, when it's spent so much time on the size of the penis, whether it's natural circumstances, etc. Well, yeah, and that wasn't even a, it was one of those things where it made news, like it actually made like gaming news, where it was like, oh my god, in Cyberpunk you can customize your private parts, and it was. I think the Conan Exiles game has a more in-depth system of your private parts than Cyberpunk did.
It does.
It was in Cyberpunk. It was such a non-thing. It was kind of like, do you want a small, medium, or large penis, or do you want a vagina, or do you want to be wearing underwear?
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. Those were literally your choices. It was
in a game, if you played a female character, and games have done this for a while, it's like, what breast size do you want? It was like that. That was it. Anything you've heard beyond that point, honestly, it's kind of just overhyped. And them having a slider for that, I mean, that's cool. Not all games do that. That's fantastic. But it honestly too, I think it was heralding back to a part of the game that they had designed for that just never then got to be used. So it was also kind of pointless.
Alex Vixen, yeah, I have heard that Black Desert has literally, it's an MMO, but it has literally like the best character customization ever.
Oh, I've not heard of that one.
Supposedly, the game's got a real steep learning curve, and it's actually really hard, supposedly. I've never played it, so I can't confirm. But I have heard the character customization is amazing. I think it's free to, I think there's like, much like a lot of MMOs, I think there's like a free to try kind of game. Maybe I'll give it a shot just to see, how cool the character customization is.
You see, my expectation, I think, for games is that there's a general sense that they are evolving and trying to improve over each other. So if there's a game out there that's already kind of doing this type of thing, my expectation is your AAA companies at least pick up on that and try to do at least that level, or in the hemisphere of it.
Mm-hmm. So another thing I like about open world games that I wish all of them would do is, this is going to be kind of a multi-part answer, is I like games that have skills and skill trees and leveling up. But I also like games that are classless. So in the beginning of the game, you don't pick, I'm the rogue, so now every time you level up, you just have access to the rogue trees, and you level down and you level up in your particular skill of rogue stuff. I like games that there's a leveling up system, there's a skill system, there's skill trees, and it kind of like Skyrim, where it's like, you got a skill point, where do you want to put it? Here's the giant list of skills you can go down. Yes, it helps if you have to get better at them before you can put points in them, kind of like Skyrim did, where it's like, yes, you have a point, but you can't put it in swords yet because you don't have sword skill 15 because you haven't used swords enough. I like that in games. I like classless. I like games that let you level up and skill up, give you skill points and skill trees, and I like classless systems.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like classless systems too.
Especially in games where you have loot like randomized loot, and you never know what you're gonna find. I'm always the character, like I'll play like an RPG that whether it's open world or not, it doesn't matter. But it's like, okay, so I've created like a party that's like a rogue and a fighter and a ranger and something. Or maybe it's like I'm not playing a single character, so I'm like, ooh, I like playing, roguey type, so I'll play as a rogue. And then everything I find is either like a shield or a staff or, basically weapons I can't use because I'm the wrong class. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just learn how to use a staff and be like a rogue that can now use magic items. Nope, doesn't work that way. It's like, but a game where you can start off, what skills do you want? Well, I'm going to put a bunch of my skill points in stealthy, but then as you play the game, you're like, oh, but now I found a staff. Okay, so I'm going to start practicing with this staff, and the next time I level up, I'm going to put some points in my staff now. And then your character starts evolving. You start seeing the personal story of your character kind of evolve. Is there
a game that's done that well for you?
Well, I keep referencing it, but Skyrim kind of does that. It kind of throws a bunch of basic equipment at you in the beginning, so you kind of get a feel for different things. Like it forces you to go, okay, so this is how you sword and board, this is how you range, this is how you staff, you use magic staffs. And at the end of that dungeon, it's kind of like so whichever one of those you liked, do that, and you kind of can go, okay, I kind of see where the game's going, maybe I want to forego defense and not do a sword and board and instead do dual wielding, blades. So you can't defend as well as with a shield, but your offense is really high. So, okay, cool. Let's do that.
So this is Alex Vixen's character in Eve. Alex, I actually played Eve for a while as well. Going back about 11 years ago now. And she was saying that there's more character customization in Eve, even though you can't actually leave your ship. I think there's a certain irony here. I think this background is similar to what Cyberpunk uses for all of the phone calls. It looks really like that.
It's funny. That was actually something that, again, bashing on Cyberpunk, a difference of the actual game versus the preview. It almost like when you do a call, it is you see the person and then there's like this black or patterned background behind them. But in the preview, it actually shows you can actually see the person like sitting in a bar. They're actually at a location talking to you, or maybe they're at home. I did notice that. Just a slight little difference. It's not like it was a feature. Like the person calling you could see where they are. It was more of a, well, that's a cool little aesthetic choice where you can tell that they're sitting in their kitchen.
I don't know why they got rid of that, unless it was for some kind of performance issues on the older gen consoles, or they would just run out of time creating suitable backgrounds. I would have loved to have seen more of that. A little bit more immersive.
Yeah. It is an interesting idea. Wargaming was saying that there was a survival game that tried to do that whole sizing, like the physical size of your character could actually affect game traits. So that if you made a bulky character with lots of muscles, you'd have a lower dex, but obviously your strength would be higher. That's interesting.
Well, funny enough, Red Dead Redemption actually does a little bit of that. Red Dead Redemption 2. If you overeat, you get bulkier and your hit points go up, but you're slower, I think. While if you undereat but do a lot of physical activity, you actually get thinner, which it lowers your hit points, but I think you're faster or something like that.
Interesting.
Or you got more cardio, I should say, more stamina.
Remember, Fable tried to introduce that as well.
Right, Fable goes back a little bit now, so I feel like games should be doing at least something like that if you're in the hemisphere of that type of game.
Right. That's actually a good point. I don't need new games to reinvent the wheel every time. Not even reinvent the wheel. I also don't need games to do something innovative. I don't need them to be like, look, this is we've improved upon this thing. I don't need you to improve anything. But if you can't meet where games currently are, in a particular category, if you're actually a couple of steps behind, maybe you need to rethink what you're doing. Because if Fable was able to do that level of customization or that level of, that type of thing, it's like, okay, that was Fable came out a long time ago. Then I'm talking Fable 1. That came out a long ass time ago. If your game can't even be that caliber, you need a couple more years working on your game in the dev cycle. Just saying. I'm not saying make Fable, make your own version of Fable, but I'm saying, all right, games allow you to do this level of customization, or games allow you to do this level of whatever the hell. That should be your new baseline. Okay, so Alex Dixon clarifies the Red Dead Redemption 2. The heavier players do more damage when they can take more hits. They have more health, and the skinnier players have more stamina. That's what that is. Wargaming trying to trick you up, trying to see if you've updated the info screen.
Yeah.
And it's good.
You gotta get up pretty early in the morning to catch me out, my friend. Alright, I think I've got my trees and bushes done. I'm gonna hit save.
And Trebor asks, is there any rule you are following for shading your trees in the various greens, or are you just trying to be random?
Random. Well, no, there's a rule. And yes, we're doing beans tonight. Lighter. Medium. Darker. And if you look at the shading on mine, the bottom right is always a little bit darker. We've got a baseline color. We've got some highlights towards the top left, but with randomness.
I like that there's a drop shadow on that on your green, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, it instantly
like
gives me shadow effect.
That made it look like there was a floating ooze pile coming through the land.
I know, it's crazy, right? I mean, just look at these trees right now, and they look like they've got a little bit of height, and we haven't even done anything. We haven't even drawn the colour of the landmass yet.
Oh, Alex Fixon, it should never be a debate. When you can be evil, evil is the way to go. All power to the dark side. Unlimited power.
And Trebor, actually, was it Trebor that asked that question? Yeah, so yeah. Trebor, there is also a rule that, because I'm going to do the actual, let's do, you know what, let's do it more of a red here. I wanted these to be like non-standard trees because I kind of want them to be like either apple trees or cherry trees or something. Now, while they would still be mostly green, unlike like Green Loontoon's blossoms that he's got on his little diorama he's been working on, I think this is more of a suggestion. So the eye goes, oh, this is like a little orchard. But then the same principle, I'm going to do some little highlights in that the top left there. So this is like another little rule. I don't want these to be green because I want them to stand out. But then a little bit of shadow on the bottom right. Little wiggly woggly sort of shadow is done. And I guess, yes, if you're doing autumn colours, I mean, my generic is kind of summertime, right? That's kind of my generic thing. Spring, summer. I don't do autumn or winter unless it's specifically asked for. Like, I don't really do night colours for the same sort of reason. Right. So these are generico. So all of these.
And winter trees would be kind of crap because they're either going to be all white, which would match like the snowy terrain, so that'd be kind of hard to differentiate. Or they wouldn't have leaves at all, in which case they're not very interesting trees. So winter would be a little more difficult, I would think.
Yeah, those would be a completely different map set, and then I'd be actually tempted to do all of the maps in winter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Alright, so it was asked if we're doing beans tonight, and we are. Now, we actually have a couple of beans already sitting in the queue. And Wargaming Recon, you actually just added a third. So I think we should potentially eat a couple of beans, Jack.
Okay. I say, let's redeem uno mas.
Let's do one each here.
And I was gonna say, because I know beans has a cooldown, so I was gonna see if I could redeem one as well.
Why? So, because we've got 3 in the queue. Oh, you're gonna do 4?
Just so we can each have 2, because otherwise you're having, or you want to leave one in the queue until a second one comes up.
Yeah, just leave it.
Okay.
There's a few actual maps that we've had recolored that are winter maps. So Treeball, watch for them. If we haven't actually shared them with you guys and girls yet via Patreon, watch out for them, okay? Because we've got a village actually that was recolored to be each season, and it includes a winter version. So I think you're going to be able to get to play with that. Also, we've got Uruk City done as a winter day and a winter night, and the lighting is completely different in both. Well, we're certainly going to find out if they're good beans or not, because I actually have a zoom in for Jack too tonight.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Alright, just let me get my baseline colour here. I'm going to move on to buildings over here. And we're going to do it in a similar sort of way. And it's this way. Now, my shadows may be too deep on this map. We're going to find out. Oh, I actually coloured over my tree by accident. Here we go. We all know whose house this is. Oh, you doing a bean, honey?
Yeah, give me your glass.
Oh, my glass. Oh, my arse. Thank you. Yeah, Jack has actually vowed that if he gets a white bean, he's throwing it away. Thank you.
Yep.
Alright, so bean time. Bean me. Oh, let's just put that there. Here we go. Here we go. Ah. Alright, no looking. Pull the bean out. Not white, apparently. Right, when Jack's back at his desk, we'll do Jack's bean first. Alex Dixon, I remember once dropping a map that was on it. Dropping a map that all was on it was just fine lines of diffused lights. Nice. As a coastal village was due to curse under a permanent fog bank. That's kind of cool. Yes. Actually, doing one under a fog bank would be real neat. Alright, so Jack, this is over to you, honey.
I'm waiting to see the big... Hey, it's me!
It is you, look at that.
So this one's kind of a goldish brown. Let's see if it's like something like vomit. Or
I hope it's good. I hope it's a good bean for you, babe.
I think it's supposed to be good, but I don't like it.
I know what you're saying. There's some of them that I think are meant to be good, but they taste like something a kid would enjoy.
I think this is supposed to be an old-fashioned glazed donut.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with that. Old-fashioned glazed donut, which is funny because that's actually one of my favorite kind of donuts. But the artificial sugary jelly bean version, not as good. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's just, it's one of those artificial. Ooh, the zoom in for me is strangely quiet.
Yeah, and it's weird because it it's the same settings between them. It's so bizarre. Maybe me flicking between them is actually going to be doing a reset. Now you're going to be quiet on the other channel as well.
Yeah, so not a bad one. Not a bad one. Wasn't the best because I'm pretty sure it was old-fashioned glazed donut, but it definitely is that artificial sugar flavor. So, yeah.
Alright, I'll do mine. Now you watch. They're going to say that I'm quiet now too. Alright, let's not look. Let's not look. Mine is also not white.
I like how since you've got the camera finally so it's zoomed out a little bit so you can see yourself. You can see the giant Cthulhu mini in the background on our coffee table.
Oh really? Oh yeah, you can over there. Oh yeah. All right, let's do it. This is kind of a pinkish one.
Maybe hopefully it's bubblegum.
No.
Soap. I'm trying to think what other pink is there. Strawberry daiquiri.
There's no way that this was intended to be a good one.
Ah, indeed.
What am I eating? Like it tastes.
Pig's foot.
Oh, it tastes like mold.
Ah.
It tastes moldy. That's what it tastes like. I don't know what it's meant to be, but it tastes moldy.
That's unfortunate.
So not a great taste, but not puke incurring. So there's that. Alright, now you guys and girls are going to tell me that the audio levels have changed again. Even though I haven't touched the audio levels. Jack, you need to sing. Well, don't sing, actually. That would throw off the
Oddly enough, when there's a zoom in, for some reason, my mic goes quiet. Whether it's me or you.
What the hell?
But now that we're both small again, I am the normal, slightly louder than you are.
See, that makes no sense. That literally makes no sense.
Yeah. See, like if you were like at 100%, I would say that I'm at 110% or 115%. That's just when I'm listening to the feedback right now. That's how I analyze it.
Alright, well, I guess I'm going to have to dick about with them a little bit. I did turn Jack down just a smidge more so we can get more like 100% each.
It was weird though. When I was zoomed, I did hear that when they said it, I did switch over to here and I was quieter. And then when I was back down to normal size, but then yours was bigger, my little picture was still quiet. But then as soon as we were both small again, my volume went back up to what it was before. So.
Alright, well, we'll have to do a little bit of experimentation with that. Although I'm going to have to get it down for guests and stuff. I'm going to have to play around with this, apparently.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, indeed. She's got her Grumpy Cat RPG shirt on.
And I think it says something like, Rocks fall, everyone dies, good.
Good.
He's a terrible GM.
What the heck? Quote number 45. Welcome to Adventuring 101. Your lives, limbs, possessions, families, friends, pets, former mentors, and souls are hereby forfeit to the whims of the universe, aka the GM. Don't whine when she kills you. That quote is from Alex Vixen. Wait a minute.
I was going to say, that sounds like Alex Vixen.
I think it just, is it randomly assigning a quote at the end, or is that something you've actually said?
No, she said it. I'm pretty sure she said it.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Dungeon Toon, we were just talking about you before.
Hello. Dungeon Toon, was it you that was telling us that the Star Wars Battlefront 2 was going to be free on Epic Games? Because we were redeeming it just earlier. And so I thought it was you that had originally said, oh yeah, it's going to be free on Epic. Nice.
So if we added that quote, that must have been Pex must have added that.
Alex was saying that she added it last night.
Oh, you're able to add quotes? You are too smart for your own good. How are you adding quotes?
Maybe that's
You must have some kind of web interface. That's kind of cool.
Maybe that's something that you can do when you're a mod?
I'm kind of down with that.
Yeah, she just confirmed mods can add quotes. Well, shit, I'm going to be oh man, Star Wars. Oh,
Yeah.
Alex, tell me how to add quotes, please.
Alex, please ban him. Give him a timeout.
I'll message Pex and I'll say, please add me back and tell me how to do quotes. I'll say there's lots of...
You're a great mod, thank you. I really appreciate it. You really know your shit. And Jack, you can add Star Wars quotes, but only if they sound like something that could be said over a tabletop RPG. I don't want to like just be getting, give me quote, Claudius. Luke, I am your father.
No, it'd be like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Something where it can count on multiple things. Do or do not. There is no try.
It's almost like Wargame just discovered that we have quotes. It's like, oh.
You know what? I'm even gonna put in some like quotes that I created for villainous NPCs, because I've actually got some of that kind of stuff.
Wargaming, by the way, are you feeling a little bit better today? I know yesterday you were feeling a little bit grumpy, a little bit down. Quote, I'm fine. How are you, Han Solo?
Oh, no, come on. That was a half a quote. You missed half of it.
Well, I guess it's Star Wars. Fuck off.
I accidentally went into mod view, and I don't know how to get back to regular Twitch view. God dang it. Oh, go back to channel. Hey, there you go.
Wargaming, glad to hear that. By the way, anyone that is watching what I'm doing in the background here, I'm now deciding on colouring buildings, but I'm going to do all of the thatch ones first. I feel that makes sense, because it's going to be the same colour palette. And we might, how long we've been going? We'll get a good chunk of the buildings done.
Okay.
Wait, Pex has got one of his own quotes in there?
He actually has a lot of quotes in there.
Yeah, but like, why has it got his name after it?
Because he's the one that said it. Or, it's one of my quotes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, like, one he added, to do no evil is good, but to intend none is better. Pex, alright?
It's gotta be because he added it. Pex isn't that freaking wise.
No, good point. It could be. It could be. Maybe that quote at the back, at the end of it, is who added it and what date they added it.
Green Lantern, what color scheme did we decide on the Halfling Knights Tower Castle? You told me that it was a blue. You had a specific blue for it? And it was like cobalt blue or something like that. It was very specific. And so that's what we've carried over here. It's a very rich colour. Maybe the tower should not be cobalt blue. Maybe the tower should be regular stone. Tell me if that's what you would like me to do and I'll recolour the tower. What gaming weekend? You probably have a point. That quote is from me. Stone Tower. Okay, gonna do it right now. I think Pex also, because we use the CloudBot web interface, he might have been able to add them to actual proper GUI. I think. But maybe he didn't. Maybe he just added them exactly as you're adding them right now. In fact, Alex, pull up your quote again. Pull up your 45 or anyone. And let's see if it's got Alex Vixen's name after it. Yeah. So it is who added it, which is actually kind of a. I mean, I get it. It like if you're using the quotes as in the quotes of people on your channel, then I guess that makes sense. But it's always going to be a moderator's name. I would like to see like it display the name of the actual person that said the quote, because then moderators would be able to override that if they were adding something from someone in the channel.
Now, hang on a second. So, Wargaming is not a moderator, right? But quote 42 is a quote, and his name is tagged to it.
I don't know. Because
that's
clearly
Wargaming
he hasn't
right.
added the quote.
Right. Yes, and there should be a Douglas Adams quote for number 42. That is true. Oh, and Alex Vixen, apparently I'm a dope. I don't know how to access the CloudBot mod actions.
Oh, okay, Alex, so you can actually originate the quote back to the person who said it. Well, that's cool. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Alex Vixen, scroll to the bottom of what, though? I feel like a dummy.
Okay, so why does it have Princess Strega's name after it? So that makes no sense to me. I'm going to draw this tower before we continue with the yellows. And you know what? Wooden floor in the center.
Ah. I should probably bookmark this page. Thank you, Alex.
Alex Vixen, you're a sharp woman. You're a sharp woman. Dungeon Tomb, big huge virtual hugs to you, my friend. Seriously. Big huge hugs. I'm sorry you're in so much pain. Hopefully they can get on top of that this year for you. This sucks ass. The fact that you join us, and you join us at such early hours of the morning, honestly, it is huge. I love you, man. I really hope that this is your year. Question time. Alright, been a while since we've had a question time. GL, give me a book number 1 to 4. Give me a question 1, 2, 3,000. And is it me or Jack or maybe both of us that answers it? Answers is it? Book 4, 4, 2, 2. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Book 4, 4, 2, 2. This is about my future. Okay, let's get a pen. No question can be answered more than once. 4, 2, 2. Is now done. Questions about my future. Sir Kobold. There's a name I've not heard of in a while. Thank you for the sub.
Hey.
Lurking. You lurk away, my friend. And Jack gets it. So Jack.
Me. So I was trying to figure something out. I was totally not paying attention.
Well, I'm about to ask you.
So we've got a question time. Okay, hit me.
Do you think teaching others enriches your life in some way? Well, hold on a minute. Questions about my future. Okay, whatever. Do you think teaching others enriches your life in some way?
With my current life as it is, with the little bit of teaching that I've done, no. I typically find it very frustrating, and the people that I have taught things in the past are fracking idiots, and I was frustrated and angry that they were not understanding what was being taught to them when the things that I was teaching them was very basic. So my current experience, as of right now, no. My life does not feel enriched or better in any way from that. I actually, when I was younger, I wanted to actually be a teacher. I wanted to teach younger students general education, and that just wasn't the path that I ended up going with. And now as the head of
Wargaming, by the way, says, let it out. Wargaming, by the way, says, let it out. This is a safe space.
Totally. So now I'm the head of a records department for a medical office. And when new employees come through, I have to teach them the basics, ins and outs of accessing our medical files. And it's one of those things where it's open up a new patient chart by clicking the button in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, so how do I do that? You click the button in the upper right-hand corner. What, like here? No, that's your left. That's the left corner. No, you need to go to the right. I literally said the right corner. Please click on that button in the right corner. Okay, so I've got it open. Now what? Okay, cool. So now we're going to click on the tab that says medical file, and we're going to be able to access everything here. So what do I need to do? Oh my God, I want to stab you in the face. I literally just said, click on the tab that says medical file. Click, there's a tab. It says medical file right there. Yeah, it's terrible. I hate teaching people new things. I had someone who didn't know how Windows worked, where it was like, oh, okay, you don't have icons in your thing, so go ahead and hit the start button and go up to programs, and we'll just create a quick shortcut from there, so it's on your desktop. The what button? The start button. I'm like, okay, even if you're an Apple user, you freaking know there's like a program list file on your computer. It was terrible. Oh God, it was terrible. Thank you, Trebor. Your wife and I are in that same boat then. Alex Vixen, I have PTSD flashbacks trying to explain character generation to new players. Yeah. And GL, slow down, don't yell at me. Oh God, I know, right? That's what it's like. Oh, it's like, click the button in the upper left. What? Button in the upper left. Why are you getting upset? Oh my God, just click the button in the upper left. See, now I'm doing left, not right. Yeah. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah.
Wargaming, no, you're not alone. This was a question for Jack. But I actually like teaching people too. But I think part of it is attitude. Jack, though, has to deal with a lot of numpties. Like, he's dealing with full-grown adults that are meant to actually be able to do their job. And if they don't know how to use a computer, Jack's job is now teaching them how to use a computer, and that's not meant to be Jack's job. So I think there's part of that. Dungeon 2, yes, we have been watching Cobra Kai, and I love it. Both Jack and I love it. I actually used to, I watched all of the Karate Kids. I used to take myself to the cinema to watch them. If my friends wouldn't go with me, and they wouldn't, because nerd. And now this series just hits all of the right buttons. I'm loving it, a huge amount.
You're right, Wargaming. They definitely ought to have a common foundation of knowledge as part of being hired for the positions. That's true. As a matter of fact, when I was hired at where I work almost 11 years ago, one of the things I had to do as part of my vetting process was we're going to have you do some basic things regarding Windows, with Microsoft Word, with Microsoft Excel, which is funny because I don't use either of those two programs. And then it was basic like internet search functions and that type of thing. It was like, one of those things where like search for and find an image of blank and drag and drop it in like this field and, make sure that, it was almost kind of like are you a robot? Click all the buttons that have, a dog in it. It was like, let's see if you could do a basic internet search for a cat and then see if you can save the image and drag and drop it down and, drop it into this field, image of cat, it was so many basic things. And it was one of those things where I was like, this is so weird. Like, why am I having to do these generic ass basic testing things for all these programs? Like literally internet searches or Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. But now here we are, 10, 11 years later. And I'm like, oh, they've got rid of those because this person doesn't understand basic usage of Windows, for God's sakes. I mean, for the love of God.
And I think a lot of the time, either a job is assuming that you know how to do this stuff, or they declare you must have basic computer literacy, and it's never tested. And the interview is literally never tested. And having run several interviews, we're in the former camp because obviously we're a programming shop. We assume that people know how to work their way around a freaking computer, But I'm gonna guess that in something like a medical facility, even if the job position says a basic computer literacy, they never ever test for that in the interview.
Right.
So you get morons, and then you end up teaching them how to use a computer.
Don't worry, Dungeon Tube. Don't worry. You're not going to spoil anything. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you haven't actually said any spoilers.
He was talking about it in an earlier comment. It's all right. It's all right.
You're good. Also, there's been 3 seasons, and I think there has to be a certain amount of. I didn't know if you were talking about the latest season, but talking about the first or second season. I mean, come on. We're a couple of years on. I think it's okay to talk about the first or second season at this point. But Dungeon Tube, I'm right there with you. I am not a Cobra Kai though. Those guys are dicks.
Are you an Eagle Talon or an Eagle Fang or whatever? So stupid.
So stupid. I tell you what, I mean, even though I'm always like, there is no weakness in this dojo. No sensei. There is no girls in this dojo. No sensei. Even though I know all of that shit and I say it like all of the time, they are dicks. But they've captured it so well because back in the films, they were dicks. No one liked them.
I did love it in season 1 though, where Johnny was telling the story of him in high school to his young little buddy there, to Miguel, and it was making it seem like Daniel was the bad guy. And then they showed just enough of a scene from the first Karate Kid where it was like, wow, yeah, actually Daniel could have been the instigator, even though you as a viewer know, no, Daniel was the one that was getting bullied all the time. Wait a minute. But the way that Johnny was telling it to Miguel, it was like, wait, actually, hang on. This guy out of nowhere was a total asshole.
A Dungeon Tomb, go to YouTube, look up Johnny being a dick for 6 minutes solid. It's so funny. And it's just Johnny just being Johnny. It's so funny. Alex Fiction typed a small bat there. Jack, can you read that out?
Yeah. I remember when I was shift head for the nightclub, asking some new bouncers how their handwriting was, as part of their job was to make notes of possible troublemakers so we could quickly give descriptions to the police. One of them pulls out their cell phone. Why do we need to be able to write when we can take a photo and use a notepad? I smiled sweetly, snatched his phone, and tossed it over my shoulder. And I said, okay, write up this situation right now. Good point. You don't have your phone, you bust out your phone, someone who's swinging or grabbing, now your phone's gone, what are you going to do? And trust me, I've actually known some people who, like college graduates, where they weren't even doctors, and their penmanship was atrocious. I know that the joke is always like, oh, doctors can't sign their names. This guy was a mechanical engineer for the aerospace industry. Holy crap. He would try to write a simple sentence on a piece of paper, and you'd go, bro, are you writing in Chinese? What is happening right now? You can't write a basic sentence in the English language and make it legible. His penmanship was so bad, so bad. Wargaming says, Jack, do you know the Cobra Kai stuff partly originates from How I Met Your Mother episode in which Barney's premise that Johnny was good and Annie was dead? No, I didn't. I've never seen How I Met Your Mother, and I don't know who Barney is. But cool that they played on that concept, because they totally played on that for the first season of Cobra Kai. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, in this day and age, going back up to what you were saying, Trebor, you know, your wife's job, the same 6-week training course they go through, and they still don't know basic things. It's one of those things where I apologize, but Neil Patrick Harris's character. Okay. The only thing I know about him in that show is that he does the nod with the glass and says "true story." I don't know anything else because it was a meme. It's the only thing I know from How I Met Your Mother. And until you mentioned it right now, I actually forgot that was where that meme was from How I Met Your Mother. I was just like, oh no, Neil Patrick Harris. True story. But yeah, Trebor. Because of where we are in the world with technology, it's one of those things that I hate. It makes it cuts off a lot of people who are technologically challenged. But because we are exponentially advancing with technology in our current society, it's one of those things where it's like, if you can't keep up, then I don't think someone should be able to hold certain positions in the workforce. Yeah. I once dealt with a medical office. I work in the medical field. I once dealt with a medical office that was like, they were so out of touch with times that they were like, okay, so in this day and age, we have cloud, we have, cloud servers, we have email, we've got, electronic, connections. This office was like, yeah, we don't fax. Can you mail it to us? I was like, what? Faxing is now almost obsolete, let alone, electronic communication. You're telling me faxing is too advanced for your office? Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I think there's a level though too of people like getting into jobs that they have no business being in, right? My mom did that once. She got a job that she was not qualified for whatever reason. But you know the difference? Jack, I know your dad has done this. She came home and said, will you teach me this? I now need to know this. And she went off and learned it. So when she went to that job,
yep.
she was okay. She didn't have Jack teaching her how to do shit on the job. She went off and she filled in the fucking blanks for herself.
Right. 100%. You've got to be able to learn it. You've got to get it retained. So...
If you're gonna swing above your weight, be
right.
willing to learn it.
Or even
period.
Yeah, exactly. And then not only above your weight. If you're just trying to meet the status quo of the workforce, you've got to be relevant. You've got to be in the times. Yeah, that makes sense, Treebor, because there's actually it's actually required, I think, in the States that stuff is electronic, and I think it's actually it was part of, I want to say that it was part of the High Tech Act from 2013. Oh God, no, not 2013, 2009. Shit, I don't remember. I'm terrible. I should probably know this. I'm gonna get docked points at work because I don't know what freaking year it was. 2008? Shit, I'm not just saying numbers. 2003, 2007, 2001. I'm gonna say them all. But it was like the High Tech Act or something, and it was like shit needs to be electronic, and you have X amount of years. Supposedly there was a federal requirement where it was like, medical offices, you have this many years to do at least this minimum, and then you have X amount of years after that to get to full thing. Man, shit, I know medical offices that still have paper charts, for god dang sake, and every time I need to get stuff from them, they have to pull these physical things off the shelf and, like, you know, make copies of them, and they send them to us. And I'm like, what the hell? Paperless records, 2003. Thank you, Treebor. I'm yes. Wargaming. What is 1948? What is happening?
I will take things from 100 years ago, please, Bob.
I will take Jack as only semi-competent at his job for 100. Yeah, paperless records because it was federal. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, and it was, and they rolled out a thing, and so I think that's why some states were able to get away with it, where they were like, yeah, we don't. Oh, and not only that, oh my God, I was dealing with a company, so I deal in a medical field that is we're a specialist clinic, and so some of the stuff that we deal with is stuff that is handled on a decade level coverage. So it's like something happened to somebody 10, 20 years ago. We're going to check them every 10 years kind of a thing. I was once speaking with an office that was like, yeah, everything after 7 years we destroy. We don't keep any record of. And I was like, wait a minute. So we need this information from 10 years ago because that's how we deal with that's what we deal with. That is literally our specialty in the medical field. We need this information from 10 years ago. And they were like, yeah, now we destroyed it about 3 years ago. And we're like, what? How? There's no record of this person's thing from 10 years ago. They're like, no, we destroyed it. We purged it. It's like, oh, okay. So now there's no record except for your handwritten thing from 3 years ago that vaguely references something from 10 years ago. But we have no idea what that was because you destroyed all the records. Oh my God. Why am I going on to work? Why am I talking about my day job? Oh my God. I hate my day job. I'm not quite
sure how we got to this subject.
How did we get here? Oh my God. I am so sorry to everybody in the chat. Everybody, Treebor and Wargaming seem to be enjoying my ranting. Good Lord. My wife used to be the medical research librarian floor manager for Musk. Yeah, see, mental health. I don't think medical records should ever be destroyed.
Well, and in this day and age, we have capabilities to never destroy them as well. Like, because you can go the whole electronic route, and it's
100%.
now it's taking up physical storage space.
Right. And if someone's in their 40s or 50s, and they had a psychotic episode when they were 12, and they murdered the neighborhood's dogs because they're a crazy person, I would like that to be part of their record. Or maybe they just went psycho. Maybe they hurt themselves. Maybe they, I don't know. Maybe they started drawing a bunch of satanic images. Sure, it's been 30 years, but they went off the wall and started walking upside down and painting satanic symbols with their poop on walls. I want to know that. I don't care if it's been over 7 years since that happened. I would like to have that be part of their permanent record. So we can go, yeah, according to this, when you were a child, you were possessed by the devil. Let's talk about that. So when you start having, when you start carving symbols into people's chests, we know, oh, they have a history of being a psycho. Not go, wow, this is so strange. Where did this come from? I don't know. This makes no sense. Or we saw the early portents of it, and we could have stopped it, but we didn't. I have a post-it note that reminds us that we destroyed the vital information you're asking for years ago. It got destroyed. You have to go too. I hate you all so much right now. Yes, thank you. I know you have quotes of that, so I don't know what that's from, but that's perfect. Yes, exactly. Wargaming. Pre-existing conditions or symptoms to validate an early onset of something like Parkinson's or types of cancer. Yes, thank you. But if it's like, oh no, sorry, that was 7 years ago, so we just destroyed it. But what? Why? Man, we started off this evening talking about games. Why are we talking about my day job? I am so pissed right now. God dang it. And I know Wargaming, you love me ranting.
I think they do. I think it's a bit of a conspiracy.
I try to be a positive person. I try to be happy.
Yes, give in to your anger.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally Palpatining it right here. Good Lord. Tremor, my wife is cackling at your pain. Yes, thank you.
Your misery is entertaining us.
It's so terrible.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Like maybe if you lived next to a power plant way back and you moved, thank you. Yes, exactly. Medical history should be recorded forever. I'm not saying everybody should have little barcodes on their arms that record everything about their lives, but if we wanted to include barcodes that recorded everything about
data
our
though,
lives.
just data in general is so easy to store nowadays, indefinitely, with little storage space taken up. So my job is in software development. I am the production director. I've got 20 odd years of technology behind me, and if we never delete data, we just never delete data. We can flag it as deleted, but it's not deleted. That said, though, it's an interesting point where in Europe, of course, they have this whole act that they did about 8 years ago or so, where now if anyone's not even a patient, if a person in your application, in your site, requests that you delete everything about them, you have to delete it. And that's something else altogether,
Yeah. I replied to you in text because Alyssa was talking, but Alex, good Good syndrome reference. That's fantastic. I was trying to look up before, but I think I missed it. But I thought there was another quote or something that I was tagged in. I don't remember what it was, and I couldn't find it. Yeah. Hurry up on the barcodes. Exactly. I think it was Philadelphia Experiment 2. They had barcodes on their arms. They had to scan in all the checkpoints and stuff.
Philadelphia Experiment 2.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the first one. I don't remember a lot about it. But it instead of doing like a travel from the past to the future, it was doing like an alternate timeline.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's kind of what happened with Philadelphia Experiment 1. It was kind of like an alternative future as to what if this bad event happened in the past, and then this was now the future repercussions of that thing. And that's why when they were changing things about the past, it was like something like they were like phasing out in like the future. But yeah, Philadelphia Experiment 2 was, if I remember correctly, was not great.
Oh, actually, talking about films, did you tell Wargaming that you actually watched that film he recommended?
Oh yeah, Wargaming. I finally watched Battle of Algiers based on your suggestion. Great movie, and I think I understand why you like it so much, because it was very much because you obviously are a history buff. It was. I mean, yes, I know it was a quote unquote, fictitious story, but it wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't really. It wasn't a documentary, not really, but it basically was like a documentary. I mean, it was kind of cool the way they filmed it, and then obviously what they were talking about. It was actually pretty awesome. It was really good, and that's actually, I think I did it today. I think it was my 1966 day on Facebook, and it definitely made my list of my favorite films that came out in 1966. That it was great. And I meant to message you earlier in the week, but and I'm thank you, Alyssa, for bringing it up, or last week I should say. But yeah, it was good. I love the fact that they did. You learned so much about that time and place. An interesting plot and everything. Yeah, and it was great. And it's funny that the guy who plays the National Federation? What were the NF? What were they? The NFL? No, not the NFL.
NFL.
They were the NFL. They were the I think they were the National. I think they were the NLF. I think they were the NLF. It was like what they were like the official resistance group, basically. But the guy in the film who plays like the leader, he was actually one of the leaders in real life in Algiers. So it was one of those things where I was like, when I was looking into it, I was like, holy crap, that guy. And then in real life, he actually went into politics once Algiers got its independence. He ended up becoming one of the, I think he's still alive to this day. I think he's in his like mid 90s, and he's still, FLN. Thank you. Yeah. But like he's what the hell was his name? What the hell's the actor's name? Well, he's not really an actor. I mean, even though he did some acting, but it was Sadi Yakif. Sadi Yakif in the film is like the leader of the it is NFL. It's National Liberation Front. So it's NLF. That's what it is, NLF. But yeah, he was one of the leaders in the NLF in real life, and in the film, he played basically a version of himself, which I thought was so cool because they filmed it so soon after it actually happened. I mean, it was literally like 3 or 4 years later, and they're like, let's make this film and let's make it kind of like it's a documentary, but it's not really going to be a documentary, and we're going to use a lot of people who aren't really actors, and instead they're just people who were there at the time. even the French guy, the guy who played Colonel Mathieu, crap, I forget what his surname is. But like, he basically was playing a version of himself from in real life. And even in the film, he talks about the insurgency in Indochina. And it's like, in real life, he actually dealt with insurgency in Indochina. And it was so trippy. It was so weird. It was so weird. Yes, in that, yes, but in the Americanized version, it was Algeria's National Liberation Front. So yes, maybe in translation it is, yes, Front de Libération Nationale, FLN. But in the film, with the subtitled version that I had, it was different. But yeah, so good, and I just loved it. Oh, Alex Fixin in, coming with Philadelphia Experiment 2 blurb. The Nazis win World War II due to a scientist trying to vindicate his teleportation technology by using it on an F-117 Nighthawk carrying nukes, sending it back in time to 1943, where the pilot lands in Germany, not realizing the time jump, and the Nazis gain access to stealth tech and advanced systems. The main character is sent back to stop it. Boom.
It sounds good.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. it was pretty terrible. At least that was my recollection of it. I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but I remember it not being great.
You see, this is how producers get sucked into backing bad films. Because like right now, if I had a bit of money, I would go, oh, that sounds good. I'm in. And then they make it, and I go, oh, I don't want to be in anymore. Get me out.
Totally. Oh yeah, Wargaming. Yeah, the composer. It was Ennio Morricone. Yeah, he did like Good and the Bad and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West. He's probably one of the most prolific composers. Well, maybe not prolific, but one of the most well-known composers.
Yeah, he's certainly very well known. Very well accomplished.
Very well accomplished. Yeah. It's funny, Wargaming, that you say that. It's true. Battle of Algiers is one of those films that's overlooked. Asterisk, because there's a lot of people. I think they're film buffs acknowledge that it is a well-known and great film, and if I'm not mistaken, it has been on numerous lists of like the most important films of all time, kind of thing, or like films that should be preserved, kind of that type of thing. So it's kind of weird because it's like, on one side it's like people are like, this film is one of the most important films of all time and needs to be preserved, and then there are other people that are like equal number of people that are like, I've never even heard of that. What are you talking about? It's so weird. It's so weird that there could be a film that is split like that, where it's so amazingly important and I've never even heard of this. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's true. Subtitles do throw off mainstream people. Yeah. I mean, I hate dubbed films, but at the same time, part of me is like, man, if we have to dub this in order to get people to see it, I say we do it. But even then, dubbed films, sometimes people don't like it because then obviously the lip flap doesn't match.
The lip flap?
Yeah, lip flap.
That's a technical term.
It is a technical term. I follow a couple of voice actors online, and some of them have talked about how there'll be a game that was developed in Japan, and so they've done all the CGI for like cutscenes and stuff, like using their original Japanese voice actors, and they're like, okay, well, now that we're doing the English dub, we have to get across, and that's why sometimes like English voice acting for games is sometimes terrible, because they're like, okay, we kind of need to get that point across, but we also need to make what we're saying match what the lips do, the lip flap. So they'll sometimes say lines that are silly because it's like, what the hell are they doing? It's like, well, it kind of got across what we were trying to imply and it matched the lip flap. So there we go.
Is lip flap the word to use? Is that the phrase? Lip flap?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard the voice actors use. They're trying to match the lip flap.
Lip flap. All right.
Yeah, because if like, you know, your mouth is saying one thing, but the words...
I get what lip flap is trying to suggest.
Okay, yeah.
It's the phrase itself that I'm calling.
It's the phrase lip flap. I haven't heard it called anything else. If somebody else has another name for it, I would love to know. But I've only heard it referred to as lip flap. Yes, the Godzilla problem. Yes. Alex Fixin links the wiki page for lip flap. Thanks.
Fuck's sake, Alex Fixin.
I'll be right back.
By the way, folks, we are kind of like at our time right here, but we seem to be having a really active conversation, so I've just been colouring while Jack's talking. Now Jack's shouting. But we literally don't have that many buildings to do, so I'm almost tempted, if you guys are willing, to go with like an extra 15 minutes and see if we can actually get all of our buildings done. What do you think? Otherwise we'll just finish them tomorrow. Let me know in the chat. Shall we go for an extra 15 minutes tonight, or shall we pick this up tomorrow? GL says let's do it. I'm kind of motoring over here, you know what I mean? Sometimes I just hit the groove and just like bam 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 bam. And tonight has definitely been one of those. While I'm doing this, by the way, tomorrow night is going to be a slightly different format. Tomorrow is my birthday. And I think what we're going to do, I'm still going to stream, but we're going to have a song request day, because we haven't had one of those in a while. You're going to be able to do an exclamation SR, type in a YouTube link, or paste in a YouTube link, and we're just going to be playing songs. So not Harris Heller in the background, copyright free. We're going to be doing copyrighted music tomorrow. Now that means that we won't be obviously uploading the video to YouTube or anything, but we will make it available as a link for Patreons and Twitch subscribers. So join me tomorrow for my birthday hangout, and we're just going to be doing music. I'm still going to be colouring this map right here, but we're gonna jukebox this thing. Okay, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Tree ball, we won't be hitting 3 hours at all. I'm thinking 10 more minutes. Alex Vixen, to you, it is absolutely my birthday right now, and thank you very much. It's really appreciated. I mean, you know, in this world of ours, in this plague world of ours, birthday really doesn't mean much. But if I can hang out with my friends, that's you peeps, and colour a map, what a great way to spend a part of my birthday evening. During that time, I think Jack is going to actually cook us a little bit of fried chicken, homemade. It's going to be a good evening as far as I'm concerned. Will Twitch shut you down though, or cancel? Oh no. So the way Twitch will basically mute sections of your video. Thanks, Anne. I've actually done this before Wargaming. I've had song request days before, and what happens is you have sections of your music or sections of your stream that are muted. Right? Makes sense. Well, they'll just end up being like all of the video is muted. It literally doesn't matter. Now that said, that was on older Twitch. But I could actually delete the video ahead of time. It should be fine. It should be fine. It was a problem to folks that had their videos up and running and like not deleted. So I think we'll be okay. I forget when the last time was that we did one of these. It was a few months ago. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but it was a Saturday. I remember you were doing like a special Saturday run.
Cave Geeks does it all of the time still.
Yeah, that he does.
And I certainly wouldn't upload this video anywhere to like YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. Alright, we've not got that many houses to go. Let's see if we can push this thing. We literally just have a few. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think it's meant to be a bird aviary or something. I'm going to come back to that tomorrow. Maybe we'll start the stream with that one. Let's just knock these suckers out, especially because I think they're all brown for the most part. Alright, let's do it. There you go, Alex Vixen. Thank you for confirming. That's appreciated. Oh, that's Princess Stregger's place. We'll come back to that tomorrow. Yeah, and I've definitely had it in my streams too. If there's anything copyrighted, they will mute it out. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. So start thinking about what music you want to play tomorrow. It'll be a fun hangout.
You need to limit how many tracks a person can do.
We're limited. It is limited.
Oh, good. Because I was going to say, because I've got like 10 tracks I can think of right now that I'm going to throw in.
I think moderators get more tracks and VIPs get more tracks and subscribers get more tracks. But we're definitely limited. Faux show.
Cool.
Green Luton's going dubstep.
Oh boy.
I'm doing George Ezra. Because of course I am.
Of course you are. I'll throw in a little bit of Lindsey Buckingham as I do.
Oh, Lindsey Buckingham. I love a little bit of Lindsey.
And probably some Fleetwood Mac to go off of that. But then I'm also going to be putting some new stuff in there. Like some stuff from LeBrock.
few more, and then we're going to do the highlights. And by the way, I've got to come back over all of these buildings and do the chimney stacks. But I'm going to do the chimney stacks on a different layer again because I want a high shadow. I think that's all of our buildings. Okay, let's get the highlights done. Hey, Britney Spears did 1 or 2 nice dance tracks. Wargaming, if you're going to be here with us, my darling, you can absolutely play Hamilton. If you can find it on YouTube, you'll be able to queue it up. Now, here's what you won't be able to do. If it's too long, like think over 10 minutes or something ridiculous like that, the bot is not going to let you queue it up, okay?
Or if the video, for some reason, has too many downvotes.
Ah, yes.
It won't post those either. And I have found that I see you did Hamilton and then Green Lantern said Weird Al. I think those are fine, but I have noticed that songs that are more dialogue heavy as opposed to the music, those typically go like people are going, what is playing right now or what is happening? Because it's almost like it's lost because there's not like a lot of music playing. Yes, lyrics are obviously always good, but if the spoken word is more prevalent than the music, sometimes it gets kind of like, I'm not saying this is bad, Alyssa, but there have been some times where a song's been playing and you've been like, what the heck are we listening to? This isn't even music, and you like skip, because it's a song that suddenly goes into, now there's a bunch of dialogue, and it's like, what is happening right now? Where did the music go? So, something to think about. So if you pick a song that's like, yeah, it's got music, but it's also got a lot of like that talky style music, maybe don't do that one. Let's do music. I'm a music elitist. Oh my god. Kill me now. It's all about the Pentiums. That's actually a funny song. I love Weird Al. Gangsta rap and like generic rap, probably not. That being said, I'm trying to think. I know that there's some hip hop that's actually pretty good musically. So yeah, depends. Saul Williams, I think, is pretty sweet. And then his are actually very musically inclined. And I think he's considered hip hop.
I think we got our village done. Well, the buildings at least. I think we're there. I think we're ready for tomorrow.
Nice.
Look at these guys lined up together. What a beautiful set they make. I'm down with these. Now we still do have to do the entire groundwork here, of course. And we've got to do the chimney stacks, etc. tomorrow. Farms, fields, that type of stuff. But this is already looking pretty darn good. I'm okay with this. So with that said, I need to figure out a better way of doing this. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be my birthday stream. We're going to play some music. We're going to hang out. I'm going to continue colouring the map. Until then, thanks for hanging out with Jack and I tonight. Jack, you're awesome. Thank you, my friend. You don't. Why do I say my friend? I don't even know why that comes out. Thank you, my love, for hanging out with us tonight.
I'm sorry. I think you're on autopilot with a guest.
Yeah, I am. I totally am. So thanks, Jack, for hanging out.
Of course, my dear.
I love you, darling.
I love you too.
And I also love all of you Patreon subscribers and all of you Twitch subscribers and every single one of you that hung out with me tonight.
Hanged out
with me tonight.
Oh,
Huge
hanged
amount of
out.
love to every single one of you. Oh, the thing didn't repeat. The video did not repeat.
It's supposed to repeat. What's happening?
I have sadness here. See, a very special thank you to all my Patreon backers, and that includes you Twitch subscribers out there as well.
There we go.
Much love. There you go. Technical problems. Back tomorrow. Love you all. If you can't make it, no big deal. It's all good. Just thanks for hanging out tonight. Otherwise, we're back tomorrow. Birthday stream. Remember, exclamation SR space YouTube link. We're going to play your song. Until then, I'll see you all on the flip side. And Alex Vixen, you have more brains than a single woman should have, young lady. You know everything about everything. But I love you being a moderator. Thank you. Until tomorrow. See you, everyone.